Yeah, so the way I see it, and this is kind of echoing something like Ethan Buckman said, which is that the invention of personal computing allowed individuals to be sovereign. Individuals to be sovereign. Um, but the invention of blockchains allowed communities to be sovereign. Um, in the sense that for the first time, you can actually have like a shared community space where you can have a group of shared people can get together and organize like independently of the status quo, in the sense that you can have a community with self agreed rules that are completely voluntary, that are enforced without requiring a third party like a court system or the police to enforce those rules. And this only works in a limited kind of setting, specifically with resource allocation in a financial setting. But I think that's very powerful, and in particular because it allows kind of like it's very internet native, in the sense that it allows anyone with an internet connection to join a movement or community and decide how resources within that community is allocated. Um, but at the moment, that's just currently done using DAOs and smart contract. But I think it would be very powerful if you could actually create like your own chain. Like community could create its own chain that does not necessarily derive its authority from some higher chain. Like in the sense, like if you deploy a Ethereum DAO or rollup, that your chain is bound by the social consensus of the Ethereum community. But maybe not necessarily, like maybe you want to diverge from the Ethereum community and you don't necessarily agree, on the politics of the Ethereum community. So like you don't really have many options to have your own effectively state machine with rules, um, unless you just create your own chain with a weak validator set, which isn't great. But Celestia actually allows you to create what's called sovereign rollups. So that you can create a rollup that does not settle to any other chain. Like it does not, like for example, like Ethereum rollups are effectively baby chains to Ethereum. Um, like they kind of like they derive their authority from the Ethereum main chain. But like similar to how you have a GitHub fork that's connected to like the master, master Git repo. Like, but what if you actually disconnect that link? What if you connect, like in GitHub, like in GitHub, you can like disconnect that from the network. And so that's like with a sovereign rollup, you can actually have like a rollup that does not necessarily post or have an enshrined bridge to some other master chain. But you can have a completely independent chain, independent rollup. And you can hard fork that rollup at your own will. The community can hard fork that its rollup, in its own, if it decides to, without having to ask for permission from the chain that has an enshrined bridge with.